Hey Aries, welcome to your February 2021 reading for the first half of February. This is for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. This is a general reading, so take what resonates, leave the rest behind. And if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. And information for all of the decks that I use is located in the description below, as well as ways to work with me one-on-one. If you gain something from this reading, feel free to donate. It really helps me continue to do this work for you all. But anyways, let us hop into your reading, shall we? I feel like in this month, there's a lot to digest. There's a lot of information kind of coming your way, perhaps different offers, different things, different realizations that are causing you to really figure out what nourishes you, what allows you to move forward, and to really bring yourself back out into the world again. Perhaps there's been a little bit of overwhelm in some regard over the last few months that's caused you to kind of disassociate, to be a little confused, but it's all kind of like you're starting to see things from a higher resonance, a higher frequency, and it could cause you to recognize different areas of potential within yourself and new ways of moving through the world. Let's kind of get into these cards and see what we've got here. I've pulled 3 cards just to get us started here, but we'll see what else comes up. We have the 8 of Cups reversed. So I feel like there's a coming back to something, perhaps something that's left you a bit depleted, and now you're returning to it with the space of fullness. There's some change that's happened, and it was really quick, something that maybe was emotionally tumultuous for you, and now that you've had some time to process it, it's time to kind of hop back into it. Although the going might be a little bit slow, you're still learning, you're still navigating things in a new way, but you're doing it from a different space, as a different person. You've learned a lot lately, and you've really kind of come into alignment with what it is that you want and how to execute that in some way. Then we have the 3 of Wands here, and it's like you're probably starting to see things come back to you. Maybe before you felt like you weren't really getting a lot of good feedback. Something about feedback here, but really what it is that it wasn't your season yet. There were still some things you had to navigate and figure out. You had to kind of go out into so sorry about that, my computer froze for a second. Very interesting. I feel like with that, it's time to be still, to work from a place of stillness. Don't try to work too hard or to rush anything, feeling like you're missing opportunities. That is not the case. It is not your season quite yet. We are about to enter it soon, though, and you kind of herald in that new year, that spring, that rebirth. And around that time, you're going to be experiencing that. You're going to be seeing those fruits of your labor. So don't get discouraged if you're not getting the feedback that you feel like you need in order to keep going. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Come to it with fullness, not from feeling unfulfilled, not from feeling depleted, not from a need or a lack. You've got to step into it fully and be full. Here we have the 6 of Pentacles, because the universe wants to offer you something, but you gotta be able to come through with that transformation. You gotta be able to hold and sustain that and stabilize that newness that you're bringing in. And it's the springtime. It's like you're migrating into something different that feels more harmonious, that feels more you. Perhaps you've been doing a lot of things that aren't fitting together right, and now it's time to really pull your resources together in a way that flows, in a way that's integrated. There's certain steps. Perhaps you were trying to hop up the ladder, but it's like letting go of 2 hands, you kind of fall down a couple rungs, and now it's like, all right, I realize my rhythm, my pace, I got this. So it's like you're figuring out a system, and the universe is like following suit and is like, we've got this, like you're finally getting in tune with the ways to move through things. And it could be a slow down and breathe more. Perhaps you're getting excited, and that excitement creates anxiety, right? Perhaps there are things that are triggering you with anxiety, or these ideas that are really powerful, and maybe you're putting too much pressure on yourself to realize them, and so you're lacking clarity on the way to really build them in a way that's sustainable and makes sense, because maybe it's not making sense to you. Maybe you're a little overwhelmed with a lot of the information or the things that you're wanting to put out there, and it's like you got to sit with it. You got to, again, make it whole, because if you move too quickly, there are going to be missing pieces, there are going to be gaps in the information. And so making sure that all of what you do is thorough and it's coming from a really grounded space. You have to be confident in what you have to offer. And there could be a little bit of grief. There could still be something that you're working through, that you're holding on to. And it's really, it really puts you in this space of need to put out whatever it is. There's something you need. And again, going to this feedback, it's like you're needing something back, and like there's this like pain, there's this loneliness, there's this having to go through things alone, but also there's this hope in all of it, because you know that there's something new on the other side. You know that there's something big that awaits you, but it's still kind of painful getting through these steps, because underneath we have the 7 of Cups here, because there's a lot of things kind of going on through your mind of how things will work out. Something was kind of torn or ripped from you, and it's all because the only way that certain things could come in is there had to be kind of this new formation, like strike while the iron's hot type of thing. Perhaps there was something taken away from you, something that you would hope that was hoping was going to bring you security, was going to help protect you, was going to help you move through these times. And maybe there's something about you not really feeling very victorious, but having to, again, take the good with the bad and find harmony in it. Find how it inevitably was the bridge that was able to get you to where you've wanted to go. And we have that 3 of Swords. And so you're still moving through some type of emotional stuff here, but at the same way, it's reinvigorating you. It's helping you recognize what's important. It's helping you recognize the spaces where perhaps you've avoided your healing, or perhaps have projected certain things on. Actually, this is the 4 of Swords. So it's interesting. It's so interesting. And so I feel like maybe there are a few different people that have either you've been involved with, that either have hurt you or have given you some tough love. And it's good to not look at anyone with harshness or with hatred or with any type of animosity, because whatever the lessons you were supposed to learn through these people is through compassion for yourself. Perhaps it's just whatever your feelings are toward them are ways in which you can recognize the same ways you're hurting yourself, the same ways that you see yourself, what you're deserving of, and the ways in which you assume people view you are the ways that you're actually viewing yourself. So there could be these 3 people that maybe you're projecting some things onto, and there should be some forgiveness there, some moving on, some reconciliation that needs to take place, and maybe that's part of the work. I feel like whoever it is, there may be one of them that you can end up entering like some type of partnership with, maybe working through this next leg of the journey with, because then we have the Knight of Wands, this call to action. There's someone who's very mature, someone who seems very mature, and they might be a little bit intimidating, but perhaps they seem a little bit guarded against you, probably because they could feel some of the things that were going on internally in terms of how you felt about them. And so they distance themselves maybe a little bit and have been working kind of on things on their other end, and you hold them in high regard, but maybe there's a little bit of resentment there, due to something that's happened in the past. And so really needing to like retrace your steps and step back, maybe you retreat a little bit, to humble oneself in this space, if you end up approaching them, because maybe there was some type of falling out, maybe there was some type of burnout. It was like kind of like a clashing, I don't know if it was ego, but it was like kind of like a clashing of minds or personalities that existed here. And so it's important to really work through some things that need to be said. There's some conversations that need to be had, some things that need to be said, allowing both sides to breathe a little easier. This could be something That's even maybe been coming up in your subconscious a lot, or perhaps you're having dreams about them. Either way, there's something here. But both of you are very self-sufficient in your own rights. All right, so I pulled a card to go with this Eight of Cups, and we have the Death card. So you're finding fullness over time. There's something here you've kind of had to surrender to. There was some type of end of an era that needed to take place here, and perhaps it was really swiped from you. And it's like you gotta allow whatever the separation, whatever this letting go caused. It was a need in order to build growth for you and whomever or whatever was there. It felt very unlucky. I think it brought a lot of pain with it. It brought a lot of spaces where maybe you were thinking like you're just not cut out for this type of stuff. Maybe you had a really hard time trying to fix a situation, and you've been kind of forced to move down the path of that's actually brought you the most good. And there was some feelings about that for sure, and it caused a lot of clearing. It caused a lot of stuff that made you feel like it caused a lot of pressure. I felt like need to make something happen, a lot of having to fight through something, a lot of having to fight yourself. So with this Three of Wands, we have Ace of Wands here. And so it seems like the world's almost kind of moved on without you. It kind of feels like that. And there's part of you that has been really trying to take control, but at the same, like fighting the part of you that wants the control and also the part that needs to surrender, right? And so there's been this internal battle taking place, and perhaps it's really affected your health in some way. Maybe your diet, the way that you treat yourself. Excuse me. And it's really changed what you've had to create for yourself. And maybe you don't want the same things you thought you once wanted. And maybe some of the things that you do want have come in just in a different form, not as you imagined it. And so it's something that may be difficult to be present with, but at the same time you're finding out more about yourself, maybe in spaces where you weren't really sure about yourself, maybe in spaces where you were trying to protect some sense of self, but now you're getting more on the verge or the precipice of really getting to know who and what you are and what you have to contribute in this space. So with the Six of Pentacles, we have the Ten of Cups. And so something's coming in that's offering you a sense of security, a place where you feel like you're really able to take action, but doing it in a well-timed manner. And if you're able to move through without trying to rush through things, and really sit and enjoy every step, every moment, every bit of the process, you're going to have a lot of wonderful things. You're going to feel more like you're part of whatever it is that is bringing you joy right now, as opposed to feeling like you're the one solely facilitating it. It's a different feeling. It's like not feeling like you're working as hard, or that you're giving so much of yourself that you're not receiving back. Because maybe there was a lot of feeling left out, a lot of giving too much, and a lot of taking on certain roles that didn't really fulfill you. It was causing you a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, right? And then here with the Four of Swords, we have the Five of Cups. And with this, it's like you got to reestablish those connections, really recognizing, hey, maybe I'm also feeling what this person feels. Maybe the hurt there, some of it is just what I'm projecting, but maybe some of it is what actually connects me to these people. And to have enough grace in order to arrive at a state where you can start finding solutions, you can start building bridges, reestablishing connection, because whatever stories that you've made up in your mind just aren't true. That's just stuff that you've carried with you, and a lot of times the universe will externalize things through relationships, through people, through situations to learn more about yourself. And sometimes we forget that. Sometimes we feel like, oh, this is what I've created because I deserve this, and that's not really the case here. Underneath we have the Star card reversed, and it's like perhaps you feel very unseen right now. Perhaps you feel like the world is kind of against you. you, and there's not a lot of hope. You're not able to bring things back together in the way that they once were. That's because they don't need to be the way that they once were. They're supposed to be different. And so maybe some of these connections may not return. Maybe they won't be as integral moving forward, and that is okay. But there's that one person too that they feel some sadness too. You and them are both going through some type of rebirth, that Knight of Wands that I was talking about, the needing to retrace your steps and to come back in a more from a more spiritual standpoint. And here we have, I almost feel like this is like the Page of Swords. I'm not quite sure. I'm still reading the Tarot Egyptians, still learning this deck, and I really enjoy it. But maybe there's something here where it's like there's communication that needs to take place. Both people have been, it's like you and this person have a really difficult time receiving, but are always willing to go to battle. That's the thing. And eventually it's like maybe you were both just fighting with very little in your hand, in your pocket, in your heart. And it made it very difficult in order to break through some of the beliefs that you needed in order to create something new. And together this wouldn't have been possible previously, but maybe it's a place where you're able to come together now and to build and create something, even if it's just a friendship, But there was just, this had to happen for both of you to learn more, to see yourselves, to see the ways in which you act and respond. It was definitely some type of mirror work here to a certain degree that's helped you both break through some really deep stuff. Here's an oracle card. No scales to weigh your unknown treasure. This is from the Prophet Oracle card set. I'm going to go ahead. I'm being called to kind of read the poem that goes along with this. This is from the section of self-knowledge from the book The Prophet. This deck is wonderful. It was a gift to me from Llewellyn Books, and the link is in the description below if you're someone who really enjoys poetry. All right, so. Your hearts know in silence the secrets of the days and nights, but your ears thirst for the sound of your heart's knowledge. You would know in words that which you have always known in thought. You would touch with your fingers the naked body of your dreams, and it is well that you should. So this is all about going back to your heart. Perhaps there are things that you thought you knew, but you didn't really know because you weren't really feeling them. You were overprotective. There were reasons for things, and perhaps they got distorted in the battle, finding the way forward. The assertiveness, the aggression, almost kind of what's the word? I can't think of it. Crusading. There's some type of crusade that left you both really blind to the real work that needed to be done. Underneath here, sing and dance together and be joyous. There wasn't enough joy. Whatever joy that was there was almost like some type of vindicated feeling that it was kind of like maybe one or both of you were a bit blind and finding joy from some type of need for validation, that feedback, right? And so you two were coming together and building this false resonance when there was something much deeper, much more important that needed to come to the forefront. So anyways, that is what I have for you for this first half of February. I hope that you enjoyed the reading. If you would like to take this a step further, feel free to book a one-on-one session with me. The link is down below. Or donate if you feel like if you feel complete after listening to this. So thank you so much. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.